I'm Maria. I am an aspiring writer, currently a journalist, publisher. Sometimes the most incredible comment that someone can give me is, I felt the exact same way, or you captured it in a way that I was trying to. Throughout my time as a journalist, I've tried to hone that skill and come with a perspective that is more honest than what we're seeing nowadays.
My name's Meher. I am currently a freelance photographer and journalist living and working in London. And I'm also an aspiring filmmaker. So I'm directing my first short film this month. I studied history as an undergraduate student. At the same time, I was working as a photographer. So I have always been really interested in stories, individual stories, on the ground stories. That was the part of history I enjoyed the most. But then also how to communicate that visually. A good image sometimes shows things that you actually can't articulate. So that's what drew me into journalism and storytelling, and especially visual storytelling.
During our time at university as undergraduates, we found that we were really dulled by the state of the world. And there was this sort of spark that we didn't really feel enough in our classrooms or in other social spaces, but that we did when we were sharing a moment of silence in a restaurant that caters to students, caters to delivery drivers and local people. And this simple act of eating together is very special, first of all.
As migrant women, we all come from cultures where feeding each other and hospitality is just so important. It's an expression of love that you can show even to strangers. We just wanted to show what we viewed as such a beautiful act of love that is often not perceived that way at all.
It's always interesting to see how different interviewees interact with you and articulate themselves as well, because you can have such a formative and well loaded interview with one person, and that can switch in manner in the next interview. And so it's all about adapting to the atmosphere and to your interviewee, but also coming in with this respect for context that you don't necessarily know about.
When we were editing or writing, something that I found a bit painful was just having to cut so much of it. I think having to cut all of these things out was like a bit sad, or it feels hard to portray people in their entirety if you have to get rid of so much of what they've said. But I suppose that's the skill of a good editor.
It was a very passionate and enraged process overall, because everything is happening systematically and on global levels and on international and national levels, and it's destroyed a lot of people's daily lives and attitudes. But at the same time, you're having really incredibly sentimental conversations with people who make what the good part of community feels like. So it's this war between love and rage. It's very difficult to encompass that all.
I think as people, we just have a lot of appreciation for what the other person does, whether or not we're a part of it. And I think that really helps. And that's a really important foundation to have with the other person. We have a shared sense of what home is. As people in our own diasporas, we have a shared sense of what connecting to your own country or your own home.
I think our curiosity is something that we share. And it is, I think, the fuel driving that endless excitement about what can we do with this? How can we go further? The Migrant Woman Press publication came out. And then after that, I went on to lead a few different magazine groups to create different magazines. A magazine which we designed titled Lip Sync at my university, which was all about the food and music culture in the meadows.
But I think before working on this project, I didn't realize, or I didn't really view journalism as something which could be also uplifting. I think there's just so much horror, and I always assumed that journalism was simply about making people aware of the bad stuff that is happening. But I think this has shown me that no, actually, you need to make people aware, but you also need to equip people with a sense that things can be good, that things can change.
I would say don't try and tailor your story or your topic to something external, or don't try and maybe compare it to what you've seen otherwise. Just tell the story from the way you see it, and you have a voice for a reason, so use yours.
And be bold. It's easy for us to censor ourselves, and just be courageous in what you tell.